Hey everybody, Happy New Year, and I hope everybody's doing good today. Man, it's cold outside today in Pensacola, overcast and it's kind of nasty outside. Uh, had a few minutes here. I've had these done for a week now, and I've been trying to figure out how I could make a little video on them since I got two of them that I restored. I didn't want to just get photos of each one and post them online, so I thought I'd just stack them up out here and get a quick video of them and let me tell you a little bit about them and about what I did to them. So we can start with this. Let's start with the Super Divette first. So this was the first one I completed for my patron, and when it came into me, like most of these pieces, the ones that have got stainless steel cases seem to have a lot more life left in them, just because I can manipulate the cases and the casework when I'm doing the buffing work on them before we do the final polish. So if you have something that's got pretty big dents in it, if you send pictures to me or something, let me take a look at them. I might be able to give you an eyeball estimate, or you can send them in to me and we can take a look at it and see what it would take to get the cases proper on them. But on this one here, the case actually wasn't too bad, at least the tops and the sides. But you can see I've gone through here and buffed everything out and polished it really good. And it's really important that you want to, when you do this, especially when I do it, there's a couple things that I take into consideration. I have to, look at the lines on it and make sure that it's something that I can get out without ruining the integrity of the watch itself, because that would not be good. And then what it's going to take to actually get it done and be able to keep the lines on it. The biggest issue we had with these is that these case backs were really damaged really heavily. Now I took tons of photos of these case backs. He actually had sent me a couple of them to use. This one here was actually really worn out, and I didn't even want to try to restore it because even though I could get all these gouges out, the font and everything is just barely even there, and I just didn't want to put my time into it. So I actually went with the worst one on this one here, which I'll tell you about here in a minute. But these case backs were really bad. In fact, if you get on my Facebook page, you can see the photos. Or I'll try to put a photo collage together for YouTube and put a little movie together and show the gouging on it. But it was really bad. And I think it's pretty common for these scallop cases because of these edges right here. And, sometimes finding a wrench that's proper for it to actually fit those edges can be difficult. And guys try to use other things to open them. And, I mean, they just get worked on bad. This one was really severe. I think I've got about 3.5, 4 hours just in the casework alone before we even got to final polish. But, I think it's worth it. They're great watches. This one here, I believe, is a 36 millimeter. Nice heavy watch. It's got the date display on it. It was running okay when I got it. It's running like a Cadillac now. Everything's in beat. I think I've got this one at I think it's like within 5 seconds a day, in 4 positions. So very strong running piece, automatic movement, very sharp. I've always been a huge fan of Enicar, even Racine, which is a sister company, and they changed the name over. But all in all, I think they come out really great. And I actually told the guys, like, man, I was looking at this dial when I was finishing it up. And I asked him, I was like, man, you should really check out the Stingray straps, because I really think it'll complement this dial a lot, considering how it's aged and patinaed. It's not really showing up that well in the video, but it's got like these little flaky white spots in it, which kind of mimics those. Which kind of mimics the Stingray straps. But so this is the Divette. Came out really nice. It's got that inner bezel on it. New glass, new gaskets, and just overall, I mean, this thing looks great. I think he's going to be really happy with it. So I'll make sure and wipe them up before we stick them in the box. And real quick, let's move on to this one here. So here is the And the Sherpa Super Dive. Let me get this thing here right. There we go. And this one here is actually a 40 millimeter wide case, and this thing was kind of a nightmare and a beast all in itself. Same thing, detail buff on the entire case. All the lines are kept and nice and sharp. I've got a full day on the casework on this one. This is the one that he had sent 2 donor backs for, and the one that we were going to go with, yeah, it would have been easier to do, but there's hardly any font or text you can see. You could barely see the Enicar, which everything on this one was still in really good shape. It was just marred really bad. I mean, it was awful. Nobody would have paid any attention to this thing with that case back the way it was. But I did a number on it. The movement was awful on it. It was just running really, really poor. Completely overhauled it. Spent about a day on the movement alone. So I've easily got 2.5 days on this watch all in itself. Ran into an issue with the crystal that he had ordered. He had sent another donor movement or a donor case that we had pulled the inner bezel out of, and the crystal that was in it had the inner reflector ring inside of it, but for whatever reason the reflector ring did not match up to that new crystal that he had ordered and paid $80 for. And so I had to do some fabrication on that reflector ring, trying to not take off too much because it never was going to work if I ruined that. And then taking off too little, I kept fighting it. I took the inner reflector ring out and checked the crystal it would go in. So there's no doubt it was that inner reflector ring. And I did the best I could. I just could not get it to work. And after about, probably 50 attempts between my hand press, my foot press, trying to manually press it in, shaving a little bit off the reflector ring here and there, it just would not go. And unfortunately, I finally ended up cracking the crystal. So I spent about 3 or 4 hours trying to figure that out, and luckily, I actually had a Enicar chronograph crystal, which it's pretty much the exact same size as the other crystal. Very similar crystal shape. It's just a little bit different, which I don't even think you would even know it if I hadn't said anything. And so I had to do a little bit of fabrication on the reflector ring, and voila, it works great. The issue with these watches is because that inner reflector ring is that if you don't have the correct crystal in it, in the reflector ring, your inner bezel will be loose and it's not going to work. Or what I experienced when I first installed it, it was just a hair too short as far as the depthness of the crystal, the new crystal that I put in, and it was causing too much pressure to be put on this inner ring. You could barely even move it. So what I did is I had to, come up with a way to make this crystal work, and I was able to, I basically just pulled this crystal up just a fraction, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, and secured it in place. And that now it's perfect. So, anytime I have to do something like that, because, honestly, I mean, that part is like over in Europe or something. And with the virus and everything else, I mean, it's taken almost 2 months just to get parts in from out of the country. And I think it's taken me almost 5 or 6 months just to get to this guy. And if I hadn't had that Enicar chronograph crystal, I would have just ordered another crystal. But that one I've got, it's working, it's beautiful. You would never know the difference. You would never know. So it fits, it works, and the project is done. I think he's going to be very happy with it. Both of these watches are running extremely well. Both of them are within beat. I've got them basically at 0.0 on both of them, and both of them are plus and minus 5 seconds a day, and amplitude is easily 260 on both of them. I think this one here is at 265, and that one there is around 278, something like that. So running very well. I'm happy with them, but I think this is a good enough video for them. I just wanted to kind of show them off a little bit. It's not very often that I get two very similar pieces, but different, all on their own. And I spent a lot of time on them, so I just wanted to make a note of them and be able to put a little video up on them. And if I get some time, I will try to get a video collage together of them broken down and the cases and everything on them. I know they're on my Facebook page, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoy them. They're really cool, really cool. I love them, and I think he's going to like them too. So anyways, thanks for taking a look at them, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, guys.